So hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in this big, beautiful world. My name is Cal Sahota, CEO and President at HeroX. We're really pleased and excited today to be hosting the Airbus, Metaverse, and the Future of Flight Challenge Winners Webinar. That's a mouthful. So really glad to have you guys here. A Winners Webinar is a unique opportunity for you as the audience and for us as well to get a glimpse behind the solution. Today, you're going to learn more about the faces behind the names of these amazing ideas, what compelled them to compete, and likely some amazing stories behind what inspired their solutions. Anytime I get asked, my schedule is quite busy. Cal, do you want to host a webinar? If it's a winners webinar, I am in. I'm going to make the time. Getting an opportunity to see firsthand the magic of crowdsourcing and tapping into the power of the crowd. You have no idea where your best and most creative ideas live, oftentimes locked away in the minds of the most unexpected of problem solvers. And we're going to meet some of those amazing solvers very shortly. So with that, we have a few guests with us today. So let's get started with a quick round of introductions. Joining me from the HeroX team, we have our project manager of this challenge, Natalie York. How are you doing this morning, Nat?
I'm doing great, Cal, thanks.
So tell us a little bit about your favorite part about working on this project with this team.
Yeah, thanks. I'd say with any challenge, my favorite part is getting to learn so much about a new subject. It's such an awesome job that I have because at HeroX as a project manager, I get to work with our clients to launch the challenges, and I don't have to have any expertise or any knowledge even going in, but I come out of each of our challenges having learned so much. So this one was so interesting to learn more about Airbus and more about the Metaverse and VR and AR, and it's an area that we're seeing a lot of challenges in now. So it was really exciting to learn through the challenge design and then also through actually reviewing the submissions.
Wonderful. I'm always really jealous of the project managers. We sometimes get an opportunity to chat with our clients early on, but to actually see the whole project all the way through, to your point, it's probably very enlightening. So great to have you with us. I know it's early for us. From Team Airbus joining us today, we have Michael and Lesgin. So Michael, why don't we get started with yourself first? Why don't you share a bit about who you are and the role that you played in this project?
Yeah, hi, I'm Michael. I was a corporate researcher for virtual reality since 1995, and now I'm heading the virtual reality center in Airbus cabin engineering here in Hamburg. And yes, the challenge was brought to us by our innovation team. They said, oh, nice topic, let's do this open innovation approach. And we found out during the definition of the challenge, it will be quite cabin-centric. And so they said, Michael, and we are very amazed, especially as a former researcher, to do this open innovation approach with you. And thanks very much for the support of HeroX. It was already a pleasure.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for being here. And with you, you have your colleague, Lesgin. So Lesgin, same question to you. Tell us a little bit about who you are and the role you played in the project.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, my name is Lesgin. I'm a VR developer and project manager at Airbus. And focusing on the challenge, I supported the team on our side with, let's say, technical expertise regarding the topic. And I was also a little part of the much bigger judging panel.
Wonderful. That must be interesting.
Sure, yeah.
And of course, we have two of our winning teams who we're so excited to shine a spotlight on today. So let's simply get started by getting to know you guys a little bit better. We'll chat more about your actual solutions in just a minute, but for now, maybe tell us a bit about who you are and maybe where you're physically located. That's my favorite question to ask. And let's go first to Jean-Georges. Let's go with your team first. So Jean-Georges, why don't you get us kicked off?
Yeah, hello everyone. So I'm Jean-Georges Saury. I live in Toulouse, France. I put a picture of Toulouse here, just here. It's the Place du Capitole. So it's in the south of France. And I work at Capgemini since 15 years. And now I lead this beautiful place that you see behind me, our innovation lab. And we will explain you later what we do here. Nice to meet you.
Wonderful. And I guess I should have mentioned, yes, the team name is Capgemini. And
Yeah.
with you, you have a few other colleagues. So Jack Ritson, let's get started with you next.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jack Ritson, 40 years old. I live near Eindhoven in the Netherlands. And I am responsible for the art part of the concept we send in, so the visual designs are made. So that's me in a nutshell.
That's you. Perfectly said. Thank you so much. Welcome. Mitch Hartog, over to you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm Mitch. I'm 29. I live in Utrecht. I basically did the neuro design within the challenge, so the jet lag prevention and the mindfulness. Yeah, that was my part.
Perfect. Again, welcome. And then rounding it off, last but certainly not least, we have Patrice Dubois.
Hi, Cal. We have also Hank just after me. As it's an early day for you in the West Coast, it's a bit late for me because I'm in Bangalore right now, by coincidence with some Airbus colleague of Michael and Ledzing, because there was a startup event in Bangalore, but I usually live in south of France, between Toulouse and the Pyrenees mountain, and happy to be here. I'm a young 50 years old, young and happy father of a 3 years old daughter.
Oh, wonderful. Well, welcome. And I love India. That's where my parents are originally from. So
wonderful India.
There you go. And France is somewhere I definitely want to visit. So
you are happily invited.
I'm just inviting myself. Yeah, just how I roll. So moving on to team number 2. And I love this.
Hank.
Oh,
Hank.
yes, Hank.
You don't want me. Oh,
The most colorful one of all. How confident.
well, you don't even know yet. I can show you. I can show you my car. It's actually the most greenest car you've ever seen.
Oh,
Probably.
wow.
Anyways, I'm Hank. I'm not going to tell my name, number. What is it? My age, because I think numbers are for people who focus on the completely wrong things. I believe that in a nutshell, how can we leverage new technologies to create a value we didn't know we wanted before? So when this challenge came up, I was really eager to step up and see how we can create something that nobody thought of yet, and see how we can bring it to a certain fruition, and see how we can push technology forward in a way that we all benefit. So, that's a bit my thing.
Wonderful. Well, welcome, and welcome to the entire Capgemini team. And now moving on to team Bandwagon Metaverse. So that's an interesting team name. We have 2 team members. Hans, let's get started with yourself first.
Hi, my name is Hans Marschalek, founder and CEO of Bandwagon. We started out originally as a video app that would procure travel, and of course COVID happened, decimated the industry, and this challenge came on at the right time. Looked at it and turned to my co-founder, because we're a 2-person startup, and said, hey, let's do this. What do you think? And he's like, oh, no one's gonna put these things on your ears and walk around and try to do travel. And that got me thinking, and we worked it out. And here we are today, and so anxious to talk about what we came up with.
That's such a great story. Those are the best stories. I mean, you were doing one thing and then you pivot and decided to do this instead, but you stayed within the passion of the things that you love. So those are the best stories. So welcome, Hans.
Thank you.
With you have Lawrence. Lawrence, tell us a bit about you.
I'm Lawrence. That's a very interesting impersonation of me, by the way, Hans. But I'm Lawrence. I am the co-founder and CTO of Bandwagon Metaverse. And yes, I was resistant to the concept, but Hans came with a great idea, and we were able to get it together. I brought the technical part to the
relationship. I'm a software engineer for a decade plus. I'm old.
I'm pretty
and-
sure I'm older than all of you. It's okay.
And also I'm from New Jersey, you know. And
Nice.
that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Nice, nice. Well, welcome, Lawrence. And again, welcome to everybody. And we should also do a quick shout out to the winning teams that couldn't be here today. So unable to join us today was Brandon and Enwazo. I'm hopeful I did that correctly, from the United States, H. Dollywall from Canada, Team Immersify from the UK. So all of the 3 teams also took second place, but were unable to participate in today's webinar. But we wanted to make sure that we extended a huge shout out to those teams as well. So excellent. So let's get started by, let's chat Team Airbus to you guys for a little bit first. So just tell us a little bit, Michael, about the actual project itself and some of the results.
You know, Metaverse is, let's say, first a terminology. And it made a lot of, let's say, activity everywhere. And, you know, a lot of people connect Metaverse very closely with virtual reality. So the question is, what is the benefit, or what is this word describing? And a lot of initiatives inside and outside of Airbus, and you see it in the press, try to find out what it is, or more or less what it will be. And from that point of view, we really like this open, as I say, open innovation approach to ask people, what do you think? How will it influence, especially the part of, let's say, the travel experience? So we have not asked, how do you think it will influence the evolvement of the company or internal processes? You know, we asked outside, because everybody might be passenger of an aircraft. And so we have our own thoughts, but it's a way for us to benchmark if there are other ideas around.
Well, thank you for that. And I'm curious, why did Airbus think that this was the right time to kind of move forward with a topic such as Metaverse? Was there something that triggered it? Did it just seem like the right time? I'm just curious.
I would not say it is exactly a specific trigger, but like I described, it is at present the time to consolidate for everybody what it is, or what to make up one's mind. And so I personally think it was a good time, because we do not have yet this Metaverse vision like described. So we want to be prepared. And so it's always good to think early about it.
Yeah. And, you know, that really speaks to what a lot of organizations such as Airbus do really well, is keeping up with the pace of innovation. It's really challenging to do that. I mean, wrapping your head around what Metaverse is, how it works, how it would, you know, really work within your organization. You know, there's just so much information out there. It's not always easy to distill. So this is a fantastic way to understand how it can really create value. So thank you so much for that, Lesgen. You were on the judging panel as well for this challenge, correct?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you guys received, I believe, 60 submissions. So can you maybe tell me anything about maybe any of the common threads or the themes that were coming up with the different ideas, or maybe, you know, some of the ideas that were quite diverse? Anything that stood out for you?
So first of all, again, a big thank you for everybody who participated and submitted their ideas. Common themes can be seen there from the submissions as a rather logical thing to do, where the so-called hub experiences, so shared virtual environments, which can be seen as a starting or meeting point. And from which on the users can access different kind of virtual activities. we had the most from this direction.
Mhm.
Fewer submissions were more focusing on providing a view of a specific app or experience for those environments. Other or different ideas wanted to use the metaverse mindset to let's say explore the different stages from the door-to-door travel experiences. So for example, while you're flying, there will be some contact. So when you are inside the aircraft, or when you are at the airport or want to go to the airport, there were some kind of ideas. And of course, in between of such stages, and even switching those stages. So, for example, passengers research while they are flying what to do next and where to go next. Yeah. So
I'm going to make
also
you go through all 60. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there were also other ideas regarding, let's say, enabler technologies for metaverse, if we can call it that way. For example, regarding IoT or NFT. And in terms of technology, yeah, a lot of submissions were dealing with the usage of VR and head-mounted displays, which was a little bit surprising, but understandable if you look at the factor immersion. Yeah? But others were also providing, let's say, a general mentioning of cross-device and cross-reality compatibility and cross-platform usage, which was good.
Wonderful. That was probably one of the best jobs to have as a part of this process, is actually getting to vet through some of those solutions. So I'm sure it was an interesting few days as you vet through all 60 of them. So, and you distilled it down to these really great winners. And let's learn a little bit more about the soft facts behind some of these amazing solutions. So, and why don't we engage with the audience a little bit? Why don't you guys drop in just for fun where you are listening from? So it's always great to see where our audience is located. So just drop in the city or the country or whereabouts you're located. So we'll watch for that as it comes through. And okay, so Nat, why don't we go ahead and do a screen share? All right, so up first is team number 1. So Jean-Georges, that's you guys. So first of all, before we get into your solution, why don't you tell us how you came up with the name Capgemini?
Well, Capgemini is the name of our company.
Okay.
A service company, an IT service company, worldwide IT service company. So
Got it.
It's our company.
Wonderful.
And,
so then the name already existed. Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Got you. All right. So I am now going to pass the floor over to you guys. I know there's a few team members on your team, so you guys can decide who's going to run with it, but I will pass it over to you. Really excited to learn a little bit more about the journey and the solution and all the wonderful facts behind it. So over to you.
Okay, I will just make the intro, and then Hank and Jack and Mitch will detail the concept. So, so it's part of our job to explore new technologies and explore what is behind the metaverse stacks and all the technologies behind. And we are also passengers. So this challenge is also the opportunity for us to think and as passengers and try to imagine what can be the use case and what the technology can provide to the passengers. So that was the challenge we would like to raise with this challenge. And then we, with the team, we made this concept of the Airbus Square that use part of the technologies behind the metaverse world, and in fact is focused to the passenger and what the passenger will feel using the technology. So Hank, if you want to detail, if you're here.
I can do that.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, you may not see it from the screen, but as Dutch people are the tallest people in the world, just about. And even among Dutch people, I'm considered tall. I'm about 2 meters. So that also means that if you look at all those really tiny chairs, believe me, sorry Airbus people, but I do not enjoy flying. I consider a long haul flight literally a long wait, just passing the time and enduring it until we reach the destination. So when this opportunity came up, I thought, what would be the biggest benefit I would want out of it? How can I escape from sitting in this tiny chair with 300 people in a flying sewage pipe, trying to deny that there's somebody sitting right next to me who I probably don't want to know for the flight? And that's where this idea came up. So how do we escape into an alternative reality? And how do I capture the attention and capture basically all senses and let 20 hours basically pass in a smooth, educational, nourishing, healing way? How can I derive a benefit? So the idea is that if you enter after the captain switches off the fasten your seatbelt light, how you can wear the glasses, and as of that moment you find yourself in this square somewhere southern European, somewhere where in the vicinity of Toulouse probably, and the first thing you see is this fountain. And the fountain, you hear trickling the water, you hear the splashes, and that way I intend to hijack the environmental sites and repurpose it to create space, because space is the scarcest commodity while flying. At the same time, also a tree, and have the leaves in the tree rustle in the wind, perhaps hear birds chirp, basically create that space again. And I can imagine that somewhere in the distance you also hear a moped just pass about, so that you experience the feeling, the sensation of space. Now, and if I've captured that kind of attention, I can start other things. I can have people move over to the bandstand where a cover singer will play your Spotify list. Think Dua Lipa, think a string quartet, think modern DJ makes noise. Everything to make somebody feel at home in that area. I can take you to the cinema where your Netflix stuff is playing. I can take you to an amusement park where you can do relatively simple entertainment, like, well, preferably not something that will put motion sickness in there. So a roller coaster is probably not a good idea, but something more easygoing might be there. A stroll into a park and see from 12,000 meters up, look over the edge and see the landscape pass by, fully synthetic. Think Microsoft Flight Simulator, annotated, so you get pointers about this is where the Eiffel Tower is, this is where the Matterhorn is, this is, well, you get the drift. But also at night, where you can watch the stars, again, fully synthetic, and have Neil deGrasse Tyson explain to you what constellation goes where. And that got me thinking, because another thing I really deeply loathe about long distance flying is the jet lag. So if I have those sensors, how about I take a 20-hour head start on my jet lag and put in light therapy, have the sunrise, have the sunset, have the moon do its thing, have sound again do the thing, so that by the time you reach your destination, you're as closely acclimatized to where you're about to go. Now, if you combine that square with other features, I think personalized bistro where you can pick a pre-filtered menu, and if you're, say, lactose intolerant, the dairy option will not be on the menu. Or if you're vegan, it's all vegan option. You order from inside the alternative reality, and the air hostess basically comes deliver in real life what you need. Now, additionally, I've had the opportunity to wear those goggles for a long time. And one of the things I noticed, especially for novice users, is that the metaverse drop, or the virtual reality drop, if you suddenly rip off the goggles, that can be very disorienting. So another thing is in there, again, also considering the safety you need on board of a plane. How do you ease people back into reality by desaturating the imagery, by using the appropriate amount of noise, reintroducing people back, easing them back into the actual reality, so that by the time they get to deplane again, they're fully in the best possible way. And that in a nutshell sums up the why, the how, and why I would really want to see this solution in place, because that would make me enjoy flying a lot better.
Wonderful.
And we have a
Any-
short video. If I can share my screen, we have a short video where we try to animate our concept. Let me share the screen with the audio.
Exciting. Let's see.
Let's go. Okay, tell me if you see my screen. Is it okay? It starts.
Screen is okay.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
have the audio, but it's the animated part of our concept where you are in the Airbus Square with the night and days cycles, different bench to socialize and meet all the different passengers, different parks where you can have access to the cameras of the plane, for example. The entertainment part where you can play video games and have access to your movies or series and so on. The cafe, as Heng mentioned, and with all the sound. I don't know if you can hear the sound, but and access to all the different spaces of the concept with the different meditation part and so on.
You know, it's amazing when you describe it versus when you show it and share it. The visual just makes such a huge difference. What an impact. Excellent. So congratulations again, you guys, and what a great story, and just sharing all the details. So Jean-Georges, maybe you can take this one. Just a quick question for you. So what would you say was the most interesting part about this entire experience?
Well, I would say two things. First, it's when you work with the team, it's a team experience with all the team, and it's also the opportunity to push our creativity and explore new use case and new things, and that's very exciting to try to push our creativity level and find use cases and concepts, and work with amazing guys like Hank and Jack with the graphics, and Mitch on the neural parts of the concept. It's really exciting.
Well, it sounds like the journey was interesting, and obviously a successful one. So congratulations again, you guys. All right, Nat, did you want to go back to your screen share?
Yeah, I actually think Patrice had a brief announcement to make before.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to thank both Airbus and HeroX team for launching this contest, because for me, leading innovation and technology at European level, a challenge is always a great opportunity to share our passion and creativity, and the team has a lot of fun to doing this. So we hope that we will make this project real. So we'll discuss with Airbus to see why not launching something real after this idea. But from the time being, we decided to offer this prize to kids and students who don't have the possibility to travel, to know what is Metaverse, what is an Airbus, and so we decided to have some action. For example, Hank and the Dutch team will do some will fight against the digital inclusion to learn, to explain, to judge students and kids what is Metaverse, go to school and explain this. And for us in Toulouse, we will help disabled kids to visit the Airbus Aviation Museum. because they don't have this opportunity, and we think it's quite pragmatic, and we want to share our passion. And on top of this, we'll organize some dedicated days for kids and students to live this experience. So they will come to our innovation lab in Toulouse, and we can do the same also in Utrecht for kids to take this gear, this Google, and to live this experience. So I think it's quite pragmatic, and we want to help these kids who don't have our chance to be fortunate to live this passion around aviation and metaverse.
What an amazing announcement, and what a great way to give back. You know, technology
we'll share the photo and pictures.
That would be amazing. Actually, please make sure you do share that with us. You know, what a great way. There's so much technology, but to be able to use it in a way to give back and just create something for, you know, the youth that might not have that same opportunity. You know, I really applaud you. That's fantastic. So thank you for sharing that.
Thanks for you. Thanks for the team.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Nat, shall we move over to Bandwagon Metaverse? All right, gentlemen, Hans and Lawrence, you guys are up next. So
Awesome.
did we ask you guys the same question? So
Yeah.
How did we come up with the name of the team? Which is pretty cool, but you know.
Well, we're actually another startup. So
okay.
shameless plug, bandwagon.co. Our wait list is open, so anyone can go there and see. So we were a Web2 startup. And our belief was simply that you can use your camera, make a video, and get people to follow you if we put flight distribution. And we got all the way to pitching the airline industry at JetBlue Ventures in October, right before the pandemic. So, you know, we were set to go. The pandemic hit, the entire industry collapsed. And this challenge came out of that, where we were basically coming back and waiting. And so when we had to talk about the metaverse and think about it, there's just multiple different aspects. And the solution we came up with was to start with an NFT that would lead to all the experiences. So for us, we were like, okay, if you're going to get an NFT, you want to have a single vision for what that NFT would be. And we leaned into the aspect of commerce. So a lot of major retailers, Gucci, Target, Taco Bell even, are in existing metaverses right now. And they are doing commerce and sales. And we asked the question, can anybody book travel in these various metaverses, right? And the answer is not yet. It's probably going to happen, but there is no unifying brand doing it. So before we said, how can Airbus experience that? We tried to touch all the various aspects, AR, VR. I forgot to say that, you know, Bandwagon is based in New Jersey and in Harlem. So in Harlem, for instance, it's just rich with history. 400 feet from here, there is the Matthew Henson Square, where the famed explorer lived. So you could get a VR experience and see where his house is and be taken back in time with a simple smartphone. You could walk a block from here up to, you know, Alexander Hamilton's home, where they do have a museum that's super boring. And then you could put a metaverse experience on top of that. So these are the things that you have to understand. A metaverse means multiple things. So we did more research and we looked at the different models. And one thing we found that in OpenSea, the uniqueness of any offering is what makes a NFT powerful. So, you know, that's where the lollipop thing came in, because we figured if you walk into Horizon's world, if you're in Roblox, if you're in other worlds, if you get one unifying object in all those worlds, and we used the lollipop and it was an available URL, then it would be a situation where we could say, hey, this lollipop, it means travel. And, you know, that's basically it. Welcome, Lawrence. If he feels free to chime in, he can. I don't want to dominate everything.
No, that's the story. You know, my primary focus was to make sure was possible technologically and from the software perspective. And yeah, it's actually a pretty straightforward concept. And yeah.
So the thing that we looked at now was Moonberg. Moonberg does exist as a new NFT, and what they provide value is the longer you have that NFT, the more it changes. So we decided that, I guess throwing all this IP out there, if we create NFTs that have attributes that would start as an Airbus lollipop and celebrate Airbus and all things Airbus, it could then blossom into a specific travel store for a specific metaverse. So maybe you get a yellow lollipop and you're in Snapchat, and you get a red lollipop and you're in Roblox. And the issue is you could trade these lollipops, you could sell them, you could rent them out, you could do different things because it's utility based. And we think it's a super powerful idea. I think I even talked about owning a piece of Airbus as a stockholder. And the last thing is, you know, if I were to explain this, because I reached out to my entire family, like, great, you won it, but I have no idea what the metaverse is. It's nice that you won some money. Send me some money, right? So I'll let everybody know in 3 seconds. If you can imagine Flavor Flav, the singer, the Grammy Award-winning singer, he always has a clock around his neck. You know, that clock is your key to Web3 understanding, because wherever he goes, you see the clock. And consequently, he can be identified who he is. So this day and age allows everybody to be identified based on their Web3 address, and then you can basically transact directly with people. So our North Star, our main goal is that we want to be able to build a solution to the point where people could use their in-game dollars or currency in the games that they play in their metaverses, and then translate them into buying real world experiences. So we're not the first on this. Flycoin does exist, but we can partner, hint, hint, Airbus. And we think this is a wonderful and big idea. And, you know, the other solutions that were proffered, they are also wonderful ideas. And we celebrate them. We celebrate Capgemini today.
Wonderful. So listen, I'm curious, because I know you guys were going in one direction in life, and then all of a sudden you pivot. How did you hear about the challenge?
So I was originally, well, I went to Focusrite 2017, so I'm on their mailing list, and you know, industry specific, having pitched to the industry. You know, we like to say we're friends of the industry, so that's exactly where we saw it. So shout out to Focusrite. Hopefully we'll be there in November. They have one upcoming, and there have been great partners over the years. So yeah, that's where we found out about it, and then we signed up.
Good stuff.
I just want to say that the crowdfunding thing that HeroX does, I may be butchering the name, but everything you guys are doing is super amazing, and we're so grateful. We really are. And thanks to Airbus, thanks to Natalie, thanks to everybody. This is like so huge for us today.
That's amazing. And listen, fantastic shares. And so, you know, for both the teams, so Capgemini and, you know, taking first place, and then Bandwagon Metaverse, one of the second place winners. On behalf of Airbus, on behalf of myself, Natalie, the entire HeroX team, congratulations to each and every one of you, and those as well that were unable to join the webinar today. If you guys listen in, congratulations to you all as well. Very, very well done. And to us, it's just watching the journey that you all took, and the passion and the excitement and the sharing of your concepts is pretty much what we live for. So thank you so much for your interesting shares. So let's switch gears a little bit. Michael and Lesgen, I'm sure, I mean, crowdsourcing is a little bit different than the normal, let's call it the usual way that one would do business at Airbus. So tell me how you would compare the experience of using this competition, for example, versus a typical route that you would take for innovation or new ideas at Airbus.
Well, first I would say the topic Metaverse differs, is not a typical innovation topic we handle in our pipelines. It is more or less terminology. And so here it's really the point to understand not only what we understand and do with it, maybe what other people understand. In that case, passengers. We do a lot to, we had a saying, passengers at heart, airlines in mind, which means when we do our product, especially the cabin, we are looking at the passengers' well-being. And now imagine the distribution in the world is quite wide. Who thinks what is comfort? What people want to do in the cabin? Of course, we do not in the first hand think, how can we make people escape our cabin? Because we do a lot of efforts to make it nice and shiny. But clearly, and we have done a lot of research on that. You can imagine virtual reality is used in Airbus since more than 20 years. And when Facebook bought Oculus, we already thought, oh, what will happen if hundreds of people will come and wear their goggles? Huh? And so we did a lot of investigation already, but to be honest, and here I think I'm very closely with Lawrence, the market penetration has not been achieved like expected, let's say 7 years ago. And we want to be prepared. And so it's important not only to look inside, you know, and not to think we are the most smartest people. No, we take every input we can use for processing to really be sure that we haven't missed anything. And so this open innovation approach was really also very amazing for us. What might come up, and oh, maybe we have forgotten something, and so it was absolutely great, and we will of course continue to process the information more deeply, discuss with different people from different views, and from that point again, thanks for all the inputs of all the participants. And but not a normal way of working for us.
No, and that's the thing, right? There's definitely a uniqueness. And I know with a lot of organizations, I would imagine, and it's sometimes what we hear as well when we have conversations, is just the unknown of like, how does it all work? And I think what first place to start is just to get an understanding about how it all works. And I think we've had multiple conversations with your teams. And I think from that learning and that understanding, implementing an idea such as open innovation and crowdsourcing, you realize very quickly it's not complicated. And it's actually quite enjoyable. And for anybody that sees the looks on everybody's faces here, you know, the journey itself, you know, when you do a discovery or oftentimes it can be you're in a boardroom and you're locked away, or you're, you know, going on your individual little paths trying to figure things out. But this journey was full of passion and intrigue. And, you know, that's the fun part, I would say, about crowdsourcing, not only for those that participate, but for those of us that actually watch it all unfold. So what's next now for Airbus with as it relates to Metaverse?
Yeah, okay. So first of all, we don't know. I don't know, because Metaverse is, as I said, it's first of all, it's a terminology. I can, as I said, we have 20 years of experience with virtual reality, but Metaverse should be something more, and it should be a different terminology than digitalization, maybe. And currently, it's going to be, let's say, I'm not sure that everybody has the same understanding of the term Metaverse. But what I can say is, of course, we are looking internally and externally, what does it mean and for overall Airbus, and it's much more than the cabin. So one thing for sure which will impact the industry is the way collaborative meetings can take place with avatars and all that. If everything is in place, let's say cloud-based applications, and I think it will also hit our private lives, maybe, or for sure for some people. But it will also depend. Up to date, it's a lot of vision, and we do not have these devices which really have penetrated the market like the smartphone did. And we are in contact with a lot of people, and some of you might know Magic Leap. That was a promise to have contact lenses, and finally there are physics and optics. So we are really interested in everything what happens, but we are comfortable enough not to jump on any new trend, you know. Aviation and aeronautics needs to be very mature, you know. From that point of view, you can be sure we are using any kind of new technology as good as we can. We are investigating it. But let's say to describe a future for Metaverse, for me personally, it's much too early.
So it sounds like there's work to be done. So there's still a journey to be had and discovery to be done. But this appears to have been a really great place to start.
Absolutely.
So that pretty much rounds out what we were going to chat about on our webinar today, unless I've missed something, Nat. I was going to, well, actually, Nat, do you have any final thoughts? Anything that you want to share? You've been on this journey with the team from day one as the project manager. So what showed up for you just as they went through their shares? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, that's all right. Just a congratulations to all the winners. I've seen, I think this is a big deal for a lot of you, and I've been talking to a lot of you just through after winning and throughout the challenge process, answering your questions. And I know that you're all passionate about this. So it's so exciting to get to award you guys these prizes. And yeah, just congratulations. And thank you for being so engaged on the challenge and for your interest in it.
Perfect. Thanks, Natalie. And we should also give a shout out to all who submitted ideas. So all of the ideas were great ideas and everything was considered. So, you know, if you competed, there's always more to be done. So there's lots of stuff that you guys can still participate in. A quick final thought on my end is, and I shared this with the participants when we were chatting before we got started, is one of the biggest reasons I joined HeroX was that it offered me a platform to make an impact. I'm so hugely passionate about ensuring that there's fairness and opportunity for every citizen of the world. In other words, democratizing opportunity. So regardless of color, creed, religion, where in the world you're located, whether you have a formal education or whether you even have a roof over your head, none of that matters. So long as you have connectivity, you can compete in a challenge. So my hope is that this is the future of work and it creates a balance that will inevitably leave us a more powerful and positive world. So that's, you know, a place for me that holds a tremendous amount of passion, and watching all of this unfold for me is what I live for. So with that, we're coming up to the close of our discussion today. So for our listeners who are intrigued by the idea of contributing their ideas, if you haven't registered onto HeroX, you've got to register. So many amazing projects to participate in. And for the organizations that may be listening in today, HeroX hosts challenges across all industries, not just aeronautics. You know, we're agnostic. We can, you know, support you regardless of whatever industry that you're in and globally. So I'm hopeful that hearing the experience of the Airbus team today has left you inspired to learn more about what open innovation is and what it can do for your organization. You know, oftentimes when you have new ideas and new ways of doing things, it can occur as different or challenging, but you know, the place to start is just to simply learn more. So we're always available if you want to reach out. To our winners today, once again, congratulations on a job well done. It was such a pleasure to learn more about who you are and, you know, listen firsthand for everything in your journey as you went through this. To all of our guests, We really appreciate each of you taking the time out of your busy schedules today. And with that, on behalf of myself and Natalie, thank you so much for joining, and depending where you are in this big wide world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
A good
Thank
day.
you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
No, bye.
Bye.